We have my man, Mr. Jerremy Newsome. We talk about the stock market. We talk about call options and put options. And we talk about how to crush it with different investments in your 5 most notable companies that you use every single day, how you can get in an unlosable position in the stock market. He talks all about this cryptocurrency market, and let me just tell you, he knows his stuff. We're going to be diving into this episode of the Happy Hustle Podcast.
Do you want blissful balance in your personal and professional life? Great. What's up, guys? My name is Cary and I want to help you happy hustle a life you love, one full of passion, purpose, and positive impact. I'm a lifestyle entrepreneur, a professional model / actor, a digital marketing specialist, a podcast host, author, a biohacker, an eco-warrior, a martial artist, a hippie cowboy, and a humanitarian. My goal is to educate, inspire, and entertain you to live a life of passion, purpose, and positive impact. It is time to happy hustle your dream reality.
Yee-yee. All right, my brother, Mr. Jerremy Newsome. Welcome to the Happy Hustle Podcast, man. I am super stoked to rock the mic with you.
Likewise, man. So pumped. Totally amped. It's going to be amazing.
Yeah, this is going to be a good one. I got to say, you are a husband, you're a father, you're 3 times Ironman. You are a doer of hard things, but most notably, you are a stock market specialist and CEO of Real Life Trading. And today we're going to be talking all about financial freedom, the stock market, how you've been able to completely change your life and really help thousands of others do the same using your practices when it comes to day trading and the stock market and just financial literacy at large. So I'm really stoked to talk about this, especially talk about, releasing some of those shackles that might be holding us back, some of that mind virus when it comes to finances. But before we get into all that good stuff, Jerremy, what is something interesting about yourself that not too many people know?
I think something interesting that most people don't know about me. I grew up a Jehovah's Witness. So I was raised in a very unique, very interesting religious sect and organization. So I spent the first 24 years of my life with that mindset, which is a very, a very unique mindset, to say the least.
Yeah. I would definitely venture to say that was an interesting upbringing. Now, I mean, I know you talk about Jesus being rich. Are you a practitioner of any religion now, or just spiritual per se?
Yeah, more on the spiritual depth at this particular moment in time. I love studying and learning and being in different organizations. We go to a ministry here in Hollywood called Agape International.
Oh yeah, I know Agape.
Yeah, with Reverend Michael Beckwith.
Yeah, Beckwith. Yep. Nice.
Yep. So next time you're in town, man, let me know. We'll go. It'll be great.
Heck yeah, man. Well, let's just kick things off with a bang. All right.
Sure.
What is the biggest mistake that most people make when it comes to the stock market? I know it's a big question, but hit us with it.
Over-diversification. I think that's probably the biggest mistake. That's the one that a lot of people probably easily fall into because of some very, very popular phraseologies and terminologies, right? Don't put all of your eggs into one basket. You got to spread yourself out over everything. You have to be in all things all the time. You're not smart enough to know about the markets. Like there's a lot there. And the people that I've studied, the people that have really, really expanded their wealth dramatically in the markets, they generally do take a different approach. And your best buddy, Mark Cuban, he said that diversification is for people who don't like to study. And while that can definitely be the case, I think many of us here have the ability to spend both time, energy, effort, and a little bit of money on understanding what new sectors or what new companies can absolutely explode over the next 5 years or 5 months, and really, really target that particular company or sector or industry and do extremely well in your investing and in your trading. And then, of course, once you know certain strategies that exist, then the diversification doesn't have to exist because you can get so granular and so focused. You have the ability to create an unlosable position for a period of time. And I know that's a word that doesn't get thrown around very often, but it does exist and it is available, and it's something that just a lot of people aren't very familiar with.
Yeah, wow. I mean, if you could enter the stock market in an unlosable position, that, my friend, would be the secret sauce. So, Jeremy, we got to go deeper. How do we attain such a thing?
Yeah, let's dive into that. So there's actually something called stock market insurance. And it
Mm,
doesn't operate exactly like everyone who's listening is very familiar with their house insurance or their car insurance or their health insurance, but it is something very similar to that. It's called a put option.
mm,
And a put option is stock insurance, Cary. That's what it is,
mm-hmm.
my dude. Meaning you have the ability to buy an insurance policy on your stock at a particular price. Let's choose a company that every single listener here is very familiar with, Apple.
Mm,
And if Apple is trading at, we'll just do some numbers. So if you're taking notes, bust out your pen and paper really quick or follow with me mentally. If you bought Apple at 170, when Apple was at 170, and when it was at 170, you also bought a $170 put option, giving you the ability to sell your Apple at 170, right? Which is where you're buying it. Well, that insurance policy is going to cost money, just like all insurance policies do, but it gives you the ability to sell Apple at 170. That insurance policy, let's say, for example, will cost you $5. So if you know your overall insurance policy cost, and you know, let's call it your hard cost or your fixed cost, and you know it's $5, that means that Apple needs to go $5 higher than 170. So anything over 175, you now start to make money. But this is a very, very common practice in real estate flipping, right? In houses and multifamily investment and apartment complex. I know you were talking about triplex recently. It's all about how you buy. It's all about your purchase price. But once you know your purchase price, your insurance costs, you fix all that in, and you go into the rent. As long as the rent or the income is covering all those expenses, right? Then you're good. It's the same in the stock market, man, except one massive difference.
mm,
The stock market's faster, quicker, easier, more efficient, more effective. Right? There's no phone calls, there's no clients, there's no contractors, there's no fees, there's no tornadoes, no termites, no toilets, no tenants. It is fast, it is easy, as simple as liquid, and it's very, very, very effective. And I think that that's the one thing that people kind of forget about the market sometimes.
yeah. I mean, the put option is it's something before you and I, went deep down the rabbit hole because you did a private consult with me. I'm so grateful for. I was like, what the heck is a put option? Like, I don't know. There's so much to know about the stock market. It's
There's so
overwhelming,
much
I feel like. And,
crazy.
you know, you, you feel like it's almost an unwinnable. You're talking about an unlosable position. You almost feel like
Ooh,
it's unwinnable unless you have, deep pockets and algorithms that are, working for you and these hyper fast cables that are, I know the real traders have where they can like, get a faster connection and it just everything that I have as a misconception about the stock market, I
sure.
think I'm outgunned and don't even bother, right? Even though I
Mhm.
have, a fair amount of assets in, or whatever you would say, investments in the stock market,
Yep.
I still feel that like, it's like, it just feels heavy, bro. I mean, it's
Mhm.
like, the terms put option and the insurance, and I want to like debunk all that on this pod today with you. And
Yeah,
I
dude.
know that's
Yeah.
it's a big ask, but where does someone start? Let's say they're really, maybe they got a couple, maybe they have an IRA, like a Roth IRA, maybe not. Maybe
Mhm.
they bought a couple companies, stocks. Maybe they haven't, but they're real in the beginner phase. Where would you recommend one starting if they're like, I want to get in the game?
Two things. So number one, I do want to debunk a little bit about, I mean, what you mentioned earlier is you're not wrong. All those things do exist,
Mm,
but you also still drive a car. And what I mean by that is there are also people who drive cars professionally who get paid to drive cars, whose cars are a lot more faster, a lot more tuned up than yours,
true.
but you can still get from point A to point B in your car. right?
Mm-hmm. Facts.
So yes, there are different levels to the game. This is very, very true. And you can also drive your car off a cliff and get a DUI.
Yeah, true.
So as long as we avoid the humongous mistakes, the vehicle in which you choose to create massive wealth acceleration is available to everyone. So now to really answer your question about how do you get started. So regardless of if you have a Roth IRA or a regular IRA, my first thing to start with is what companies, can you sit down and write 5 minutes, 5 companies that you know, that you interact with every day, that you like, that you get exactly how they make money.
Yep.
Like you spend money with these companies on a regular basis. So let's go over just some basic ones. Toyota. All right. You've heard of Toyota?
Yep.
you might even have a Land Cruiser. So
No,
Toyota,
I don't, but I wouldn't mind one. Yeah.
Exactly. You wouldn't mind one. Toyota Land Cruiser, if you're listening, hook your boy up with a Land Cruiser.
Let's
right?
go. We'll brand it Happy Hustle.
That's right. So Toyota stock since June of 23. So this is about a year from me and you talking, is up 60%.
Wow.
Right? Toyota, regular old, nothing special. We're not talking about the most new pharmaceutical company that's solving cancer. All right. Costco. You ever heard of Costco, Cary?
Oh, now they take my money every month. A lot of it.
Dude,
I can't walk out of there without dropping a G. I swear.
Costco is also up 60% in the last year. 60% on Costco. So we can continue to go down this list. But again, that's the thing, is we're not choosing crazy, weird companies. Like, we're going to pick, and we can pick. And yes, there are components of timing that are important, but those components can be visually identified in the market. What that means is you can look at and identify, is this a good time to buy this particular asset or not? Or like Costco right now, is it at the highest price that it's ever been? And so ultimately, as we start to degranularize and realize that it's not ultimately that hard, my focus for everyone listening and my focus for myself is, can I make 30% a year interacting with the largest companies in the world? That's my goal. If the markets are going up, if the markets are going down, right? In 2022, I lost 2.5% on my overall portfolio. So that was a down year for me, but did not make 30%. But there was a lot of companies that lost 80% of their market capitalization, right? PayPal, Shopify, Square,
Facebook, right?
Facebook, Tesla. So there's a lot of other companies that got absolutely murdered.
Yeah.
And again, it's all about protecting your downside. It's all about protecting your risk. So I'm not really actively trying to double or quadruple my account. But for all of those who are listening, 30% is realistic. And it's still high enough where it makes you go, it's probably bullshit. Like, I don't think that's possible to do 30%. But we can pull up a few more companies that you're very familiar with, Cary, right?
Yeah.
Netflix. Netflix since October of this year is up 82%. You mentioned Facebook. It's up over 100%. Netflix is up. NVIDIA is up 500%. Apple's up 30% in the last 2 months. Google's up 35% in the last 5 months. There are opportunities frequently to create income and to create wealth and to perpetuate it. So I would say step number 2 to get started. We got step number 1. Come up with your 5 companies that you use and interact with, that you know exactly what they are. And then number 2, there's a platform that I like a lot, actually. It's called Robinhood. Robinhood's a really, really good tool for brand new traders. And so I would say step 2 is to go on to Robinhood and try to buy or work on buying 100 shares of companies that you know, that you use, that you interact with, that you touch, that you work on every day, and buy 100 shares, and then go rent out those 100 shares and do a covered call, which is another really, really fascinating strategy that we haven't talked about yet. But that's where you can rent out your stock, bring in monthly income, and then you can use that monthly income to then buy the insurance policy that we just talked about, right? Incredibly creating downside risk capital protection and then giving you some of the upside as well. It's amazing. I love the market. It's so fun, dude.
Okay, so we got to recap this because this is some gold here. So, I mean, it seems so simple, but it really is the move. Like, you just find companies that you actually use, that you know, that you like, potentially that you even trust, and that you want to own a portion of their company. Then you go to Robinhood, you get, you know, yourself a trading platform. You know, I use Charles Schwab. I know you recommend that. What are some other platforms if people are, you know, potentially not wanting to use Robinhood?
Yeah, exactly. Robinhood is just one of them. There's a few out there. Charles Schwab is a great one. I mean, it's like the 5th largest institutional company in the world from a financial standpoint. Interactive Brokers is another one.
Okay.
Tastyworks, created by Tom Sosnoff, who created Thinkorswim. That's another one. So there's a few out there, man, and they're all quite good.
Okay. So we got a platform, and then we essentially want to buy 100 shares of our company that, you know, we believe in. Are you talking about 100 shares of like a Costco, or are you talking 100 shares across the 5 different companies?
Good question. Yeah, at least 100 shares of any of the individual ones. Yeah,
Okay.
so 100 shares of Costco or 100 shares of silver, right? Ticker symbol SLV. You can even buy silver in the stock market. You know, it's, right? 100 shares of gold. 100 shares of Apple. Yeah, exactly. Tesla.
Okay. And then you mentioned a covered call, right? So that let's unpack that a little deeper. How does one go about doing a covered call?
Man, it's so fun. I love these things. So you ready for a crazy, like when I say this, you're going to want to kick me off because you're like, this guy he's preaching something terrible here. A covered call adds 0 additional risk to your portfolio or to your position.
Whoa.
So these strategies are very much allowed inside of IRAs and 401ks and Roth IRAs because they add 0 additional risk. So you do have to get approved for options. That is one definite step that I can walk people through for free. The option approval is a really, really big aspect of this, but Cary, it's like buttons, dude. You got to press like 7 buttons and you get approved for options. Like, it's not hard. You just got to press some buttons. But once you get approved for options in your 401ks, in your IRAs, in your retirement accounts, and again, potentially, most of your listeners probably already have 100 shares of Disney, of Boeing, of Tesla. Then they can start creating cash flow, like I mentioned earlier, with 0 additional risk. Because the risk that you already own the stock. What's the risk of owning stock, Cary? It goes to 0. That's the risk, or it goes down.
True.
You already have that risk if you own the company. So selling a covered call, the way you do that is you actually go into an option chain, which again, I can walk any of your listeners through, and you sell a call option higher than when you bought the stock. And to really quickly relate it to a real estate example, because you're a real estate pro, dude. You know all about real estate.
I'm not, but thank you. I appreciate you.
If let's say you're trying to buy a triplex, and I don't know, random state, let's say Bozeman, Montana. You're trying to buy a triplex in Bozeman, and you tell the owner of this company, owner of this building, hey, let me give you $5,000. I don't want to buy the triplex yet, but I want to go and do my due diligence. And if I don't end up buying the house, you get to keep the $5,000. That is an option to buy the triplex. That's literally what it is. Like, this happens in real estate all the time. It's the exact same thing in the stock market. So if I buy Boeing, okay, and Boeing right now, this exact second of recording, is being traded at 174. If I buy 100 shares of Boeing at 174, I spend $17,000. I can sell a 185 call option and bring in $1.85 per 100 shares. So that means I have the ability to sell Boeing $11 higher than it's being traded right at this exact second and get paid an extra almost $2 to do that, which is an extra 1%. So I'm getting paid to sell Boeing higher than it currently is. That's what a covered call is. And it's a pretty amazing, like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
If this is so easy, why doesn't everyone do it?
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's
That's,
because they don't know how, dude. That's it. That's all it is. Like, you just don't know how. It
hey,
is that easy. This has been in operation since 1973. Right? Options have been around forever. And most people don't do them because they just simply don't know how.
yeah. I mean, I didn't know how until you explained it to me. And I feel like we don't learn this stuff in school. So how would you
Right.
know how unless you really dedicate yourself to,
Right.
learning it?
Right.
Okay. Let me recite it back just to make sure that I'm
Sure.
understanding and tracking. Therefore,
Come
hopefully the heavy
on,
hustlers
baby.
out there are also doing the same.
Let's go,
So
hustlers.
first and foremost, let me just clarify. Do we have to have 100 shares in order to do a call option?
Yeah, you need 100 shares to do a covered call. That is correct.
Okay. Okay. So that's that's going to be a limiting factor for some people, right? But for those people who can afford to buy 100 shares of a company that they trust, that they believe is going to increase in value, a covered call is a great option, right?
Correct.
So a covered call, you have to first apply. Once you get, approved, it's very simply you're setting, a price that you think the stock will increase to, correct? For
Mm-hmm.
example, Boeing, you think it's going to go up to 185. You bought it at 174, but you think it's going to go up $11. So then when it does go up, you are guaranteed to sell it at that rate before it crashes again. Is that kind of the premise with the covered call?
It's kind of the premise. Yeah, that's
Okay.
almost effectively it. Yep.
Okay. So it's again, it's an insurance policy. It doesn't cost you anything. What if you don't want to sell it at 185? Do you have to sell it at 185 with the covered call?
No, because it has to close above 185 on the date that you agreed to sell it on. So in like every insurance policy, Cary, it has an expiration date. Every single insurance policy has an expiration date. And when you do a covered call, you're choosing an expiration date. Again, you're picking it. It's like if you're renting a house. Do you want to do a short-term rental on Airbnb? Do you want to rent for a couple of days? Do you want to rent for a couple of weeks? Do you want to rent for a couple of months? Do you want to rent for a couple of years? The longer you rent, the more money you make upfront. I mean, that's pretty self-explanatory. So the longer of a time frame that you choose, the more money that you'll bring in. The stock has to close, in this example of Boeing, whatever day you choose, it has to close above 185 for you to then sell your shares. But to answer your question, you don't have to do anything in the stock market. That's what's really, really cool. Even if the stock is going up to 185, there are times and capacities where you can buy back the option that you sold. And if you buy it back for less than you sold it for, you can actually make money on that position as well, even if the stock is continuing to go higher. So again, now we're starting to get a little bit advanced, but
Yeah.
ultimately the answer is, Cary, you can do anything in the market that you can do in real estate. Most people do understand real estate to a pretty high degree, but anything that you can do in real estate, you can do it in stock, except faster and quicker. So again, just like can you kick out a tenant that's renting your house, right? Sure, you can. You can do that with an option, right? You can buy back the option that you sold. You can absolutely get in and get out of positions. It's just easier and faster.
Okay, yeah. I mean, this is definitely something I don't want to get too deep in the weeds because I want people
Yeah.
to like dive into reallifetrading.com and if they really want to go there, you have a ton of courses and essentially instructional, material. I
Yep.
mean, talk to us about reallifetrading.com. Just, I want to, touch on what you've built, which is it's such a gift to the world who for people who want to learn this stuff. I mean, this is a great place. Talk to us about real life trading.
Thanks, man. Yeah, you mentioned an interesting word earlier. You said afford, right? Can people afford to buy 100 shares in a particular company? The stock market very much does have I don't have enough money to participate in this. And although everyone can, I mean, if you have like $3,000 effectively, you can start interacting with the market at a pretty high level, because there's hundreds of really, really good companies that trade less than $30 that you could buy 100 shares of, and then start doing cover calls and start creating a wealth for yourself. So, I mean, for example, silver, right? You can buy silver right now for $2,500, 100 shares of it. You can buy Alcoa, you can buy US Steel. So what I realized about 10 years ago, so the company's been in business 10 years now, which is really cool. It's a big accomplishment for me.
Yeah. Congrats, man.
Thanks, dude.
Yeah.
I created this company and I provided 99% of the education for free, because I think that education should be free. I don't think that people should pay for education. I think people should pay for experience. And ultimately, the educational component, when I created the company, I thought to myself, what if I just take everything that I've learned, because I've been studying this like an absolute maniac for 15 years, 15, 16 years, like 7 hours a day. I've read every book. If it is a stock market book, I've read it. If it's an options book, I've read it. If there's been a seminar or webinar or instructional course, I've taken it, taught it, or watched it. I am an absolute phenom when it comes to education in the stock market field. That's my specialty. That's my area of expertise. And when we're referring to all the things that are available and all the things that are possible, I just thought to myself, what if I just took all of my knowledge and just gave it away? What would happen to the world? And the answer is, man, awesome things have happened. People's lives have changed because they are able to understand at a deep level what the market is and how it works. And I did have to face lawsuits because some of those people that built the big wires, like you said, they wanted fractional of a second faster. Like, they didn't like the fact that I was giving away their secrets for free.
I bet.
So I did face lawsuits, and it really sucked. And the first 3 to 4 years of business was really, really, really hard. But I just kept going. And I was not a happy hustler. I was just a hustler. And I put my face into the dirt and worked 18-hour days. And I've been working on helping so many people. And I finally started meeting amazing men like you that helped me shift my perspective a little bit and helped me start dialing in my happiness journey more on the hard side. And then the content became even better. And it just became this really luxurious place for people to learn and understand wealth creation.
Yeah, man, it is such a beautiful journey. And I watched your YouTube video that you sent because you sent it to the Happy Hustle Club, and I was like, I gotta watch Jeremy's video. Very interesting upbringing. I mean, you came from super humble roots, like basically nothing, and then you just dedicated yourself to learning and absorbing knowledge and the skill acquisition of day trading and stock market analysis. And I just think for anyone out there who wants to shortcut quote unquote success, you have to find people like Jerremy who put in the work, and then you can just take their knowledge that's been assimilated and learn from it. It's all about getting mentors in life if you want to shortcut quote unquote your success. Now, you are going to have to hustle. Like, that's half the happy hustle is a hustle. Let's be honest. But you could do it with a smile, right? You could do it finding joy in the journey. And now I know you've made a ton of people a lot of money through your, knowledge distillation, will you? And there's a bunch of happy hustlers out there who they hear this, they want to, have some exposure to the stock market, but maybe that risk or that fear is holding them back, or maybe they have like self-limiting beliefs about money. Break those for us right here, right now, once and for all, Jerremy. Like, there's someone out there saying, I don't know if I could do it, Jerremy. Like, money, wealth, freedom, I don't know if it's for me. Just what would you say to that person?
Got to go with the old Henry Ford quote, right? He who thinks he can and he who thinks he can't are both right.
Yeah.
So if someone says, like, this wealth game's not for me, I don't want it, what you do? right?
Yeah.
That's the like you're not listening to
Yeah,
your
true.
boy Cary Jack. You're not here if you do not want an amazing life for yourself, for your family, and for
Yeah.
others. Right? You are here to pour in greatness into the world.
Mm.
For anyone who isn't part of this tribe, for anyone who's part of this crew. And I truly believe, man, like the market's not controlled by fear and greed. You'll hear that a lot, right? The market's controlled by fear and greed. People are in the markets are greedy. There are people, right? With new levels come new devils, right? There are people who participate in the market who are greedy. But ultimately, everyone that I work with and I connect with, they are in it to give more to their church, to give more to their community, to give more to their family, to give more to other people, to just really, really expand their wealth and expand their journey. And by definition, that's not greed. So if you feel like the market is this really scary place, I want you to just sit down for just a moment and just ask yourself, were you created to be mediocre? Or were you created in the image of greatness? Were you here to do something that is truly remarkable with your life, with your time, and with your money? And if you feel in your heart the answer is yes, I just want every one of you to step up and to learn, right? Spend time on it. There are so many books and courses and YouTube channels. And yes, everything takes time. Everything takes time. But it's a lot better to know something regardless of your age so that eventually you can start teaching it to other people, right? Let other people learn. Let other people study. Teach them. Teach your kids.
Yeah.
Teach your kids, even if you don't master the markets and make millions of dollars, and that's okay, but you understand how the market works and get it to a degree, and you can start teaching your kids. They have their entire life because the stock market's never going away, ever. It'll never, ever not be here. And so every single person who's listening to this, think about it from a legacy standpoint. Think about it from a generational standpoint. We have this almost, let's call it a burden to teach other people, because you mentioned earlier also, Cary, this stuff is not taught in school. And that's one of my big dreams, is to get this in the education system. Because when you start increasing, and here's the big one, man, you start increasing wealth and access to prosperity, you remove negativity and the need of money, because it's so much more readily available and accessible. Crime decreases.
Yeah.
Poverty decreases. Problems decrease. And you start coming up with a whole better world.
Wow. Yeah, man, that is so true. If this was taught in school, in the school systems, it would change everything. I mean, it really would. And it's sad that it's not. But I do think it's guys like you and it's, companies like Real Life Trading that have the potential to really put their dent in the universe, right? And I mean, the stock market is for everyone. Let's be honest, guys. You really can participate, even if you cannot buy 100 shares right now. Like, I don't love to use that word cannot, but if that's where you're at, you could still buy 10, right? And you just got to start incrementally and, putting aside some of your income to essentially invest it. I'm curious. I got to ask, what was your best investment to date when it comes to the stock market? And give us the numbers on that return. I want to know.
Yeah, dude.
Whoa. Apologies for interrupting your programming, but I have to tell you, the best investment you can make in yourself is one in which helps you acquire skills. You've probably heard people talk about, just invest in yourself and you'll be successful. Yes, that's true to a degree, but you have to invest in skills that will ultimately help you achieve your desired results. And I think one of the best skills one can possess, be it an entrepreneur or an aspiring entrepreneur, is the sales sword. Really knowing how to sell, utilizing pressure-free persuasion, which will make you more money and more impact. Now, if you want to know how to sell more efficiently and effectively, I just launched a sales course called The Proven Roadmap Process to Selling Millions of Dollars and helping you to increase your conversions guarantee. And you can get access to this new sales course that The Happy Hustle is launching at thehappyhustle.com/sales. And if you act fast, you'll get it at the lowest price it'll ever be available, because we are launching it and we want to gain amazing testimonials and social proof to further share this knowledge. So if you act fast, you can get it at the lowest price it'll ever be. That's at thehappyhustle.com/sales. Now let's get back to this episode.
Let's do it. So I'm going to go back for a moment to what I mentioned earlier, is diversification for people who don't like to study. And I started studying a automobile company in 2018 called Tesla. And the reason I started studying this is because I was just hearing a lot about Elon Musk. And as one does, like, probably what Elon did with PayPal and a few other previous companies that he did and he worked with and he interacted with. And so I just started doing a lot of research on him. And I knew he was the CEO of the company. I knew he was very smart, but I didn't know as much as I would like to know about Elon Musk. So I read his biography. Read his biography, listened to it on Audible, and I realized this guy's insane knowledge. Like, when he's a CEO of he could go build the Tesla with his bare hands. Like, the guy knows his product inside and out. Like, he obsesses about this thing. For example, the door handles took 5 months. Like, he was planning on how to make a door handle for 5 months. Yeah, for real, right? Jeez Louise. And he had this really unique vision and he had this really unique understanding. And so I started buying Tesla pretty aggressively late 2018. And it was mostly because of, again, the books and just understanding like what it was. And this was probably September of 2018. And then June of 2019, Tesla went down 50%. And then I started reading even more books. And Warren Buffett actually has a quote that says, if you love a company, you'll love it if it's 50% cheaper. Right? So I was like, whoa, okay. Should I do a little bit more research? So I do more research. When I say do more research, I go and I drive every Tesla that I can. I talk to Tesla owners. I ask them, why are they in Tesla? What do they think is going to happen? What's their vision of the company? I joined Tesla from Tennessee. So like, I am in this group studying ancillary things, not just the chart, not just the fundamentals. I'm talking to people who are driving this vehicle. You know what? Every single person I talk to at this point loves it. They love the vehicle. They love the car. They love the experience. So then I buy one. I fall in love. And I go, all right, what else can I sell in my life? Like, what do I not need? What do I not need to?
This kidney, it's got to go,
bro, for sure, right? It's like liver, like what, blood, like what do I need to sell? Yeah. And so I just got into this mindset, and this is an interesting awareness. The awareness of, if you have extreme clarity, and you know for sure, without question, exactly what you need to do, and you know why you need to do it, and you know how much it costs, everything in your life will change. And so for me on Tesla, I knew that I had to own more. And I wanted to buy 2,222 shares, right? And at the time, they had those
power number.
Yeah, which was about $250,000, give or take, of U.S. dollar capital. And then in June of 2019, when I was at the bottom, I flew up to New York City. I did an interview with a company called Real Vision, and they labeled me as the Tesla bull. And the company by nature is a little bit more bearish, which means they kind of lean negative generally. Like, oh, so they all think that Tesla is going to go zero at this point. It's going to be bankrupt any day. And I came up with the exact opposite thesis, and went on national television and put my money where my mouth is. And in November of 2018, Tesla was up 200%. And I bought some call options, and I'll tell you the exact date for awareness purposes. Give me 3 seconds. I'm pulling up on the back screen here on my chart. So the exact day, as I know, was October. Yeah, October 24th and 25th. Tesla has this huge move on earnings. They actually make a profit, right, on their earnings per share. And I make $1.2 million in day one, and then I make $2.5 million the next day.
Whoa!
And I take some of that money, I sell, I get a little bit liquid. They come out, they announce the Cybertruck November 22nd. I say, guys, this is even more bullish. I take that money, I reinvest it, and I end up taking about $250,000 and turning into a little bit north of 10.
Whoa!
Yeah,
Let's
during that
freaking go, brother.
yeah, thanks, dude. During the 2020 move, and so a few other people did, right? A few people 10x their entire network during that time, and awesome, right? It's so cool on Tesla. So obviously, I kind of have to be a big Tesla fanboy now, and I still
Yeah.
am.
Yeah.
I'm a huge component of the company. I'm a huge believer. I've done the research, I've done the analytics, but again, dude, all that I'm not special. Like anyone can do that.
Yeah.
Anyone can do that, and it doesn't have to be with $250,000. It can be with 2,000.
Yeah.
But imagine 10xing $2,000, and that turns into 20, and then 20 turns into 45, and then 45 turns into 95. And like it builds over time.
Dude, just to your point, like, yeah, you hear Jeremy, making a cool 10 mil from his, pick. But to your point, bro, like I bought in Tesla. I loved Tesla early as well, but I didn't put enough in. I didn't have that same conviction. But I think I made like, I literally put in, I think $2,000 when it was like 176 or 180, something around there before the split. And I made, probably 20 grand off it. And I was like, this is awesome. That was my first real win in the stock market, by the way. I've always had a little incremental, but yeah, 10 mil off of it. Like you think about it, you didn't have to pick up a hammer. No offense to anyone who has. I've swung many of hammer, but it's like, it's not like physical labor, right?
Yeah.
You didn't have to really like, you didn't really have to. Yeah, you didn't have to like sacrifice your family or your faith or your morals or your ethics. You just like, you studied, it's like you just were a little bit ahead of the curve. And I just feel like there's another opportunity with that, transitioning us now into cryptocurrency and Bitcoin. And I know you're bullish on crypto as well. So like, give us the Jerremy prediction for crypto and like where the happy hustlers should be in their stance. I don't want to say should, but could be, right? Like
could be, might be, yeah,
might
dude,
be.
100%. So I have so many beliefs on, and again, Cary, the crazy part is I've been a believer on Bitcoin for a while too. Same principle. Same principle. Only because I've been in the markets for a while. So keep that in mind. Now, when I tell people I've been in the markets a while, what I want them to hear is this is available for everybody. The markets are never going away. I think everyone could spend an hour a week. And if they spend an hour a week studying and reading books and like kind of asking questions about the markets, they would 10x their returns in 5 to 10 years. Right? Like it would be a dramatic shift. Dramatic. And Bitcoin is one of those things, again, I accidentally got really rich in.
I love how you say that.
Yeah, I bought a decent amount in 2015, 2016. And
in
2017,
no way.
Yeah, 2017, it had a big run up. That was crazy. And yeah, man, it's just been so fortunate. And there's been so many great gifts that's happened in my life, and that's one of them. But for all the ones who believe that Bitcoin's going to go down in value and that the governments will shut it down, here's the only way that theory works out. The only theory that I can imagine on how Bitcoin is stopped at this point is that the entire world turns off its internet and we stop using it. If that happens, Bitcoin, along with everything else that you invest in, is going to be worthless.
True.
And we're going to be fighting each other with swords and sticks. And don't come to my house because you will lose. So,
same.
Yeah. Don't come to me in Cary's house looking for free stuff. Okay, it's not going to work out well. But that's it, though, man. Like most people in America, they forget that there are other countries that exist. And I know that sounds crazy, but when it comes to Bitcoin, that's why Bitcoin is so powerful. There are so many other countries with millions of participants millions of people who their currency is kind of shitty.
Yeah.
And so they go and they buy Bitcoin as a protection to their currency.
Mm-hmm.
And so Americans forget. Let's take some basic numbers, Cary. Let's say that Venezuela, Argentina, Cuba, Brazil, India, Philippines, Bali, parts of Russia, Kazakhstan, Afghanistan, Iraq, and Greece. 10% of those populace come together and said, I want to buy $10 worth of Bitcoin. Right? You got 500 million people buying $10 worth of things. That's $5 billion worth. And if they did that every month, which they have been, what's going to happen to something that has a limited supply? Demand's going to increase and the price is limited. Sorry, the supply is limited. The demand is going to increase. The price is going to go up.
Yep.
And that's a small worst case scenario. Right?
True.
I just mentioned 500 million people. I mean, what if that number is a billion? And what if instead of putting in $10 every now and then, they put in $10 a week? It's $10 billion. I mean, dude, that's what I don't see how this doesn't hit $100,000 in the next 24 months. I literally do not. Right now it's at $69,000, $68,000. You, in fact, Cary, you should bring me back on your podcast. In the next 2 years, if Bitcoin does not hit 100,000, I'll do whatever you tell me to do publicly. Right? Like, I will allow you.
He will give away $1 million.
Dude, like, it'll be. I don't see it mathematically. I don't see how mathematically it's not
so
possible.
You think it'll go to, what did you say, in 2 years?
Easily 100,000, without question. I mean,
Okay.
I'm probably way underestimating.
Yeah.
That's okay. I like underestimating because I'm about certainties and guarantees. I don't go after the big crazy thing. Like I said, 30%.
Yeah.
I just want a 30% return. Every now and then I get lucky. When you go back to the whole Tesla thing, you're like, oh, you didn't make 30% on Tesla. No, because it gapped up overnight. It was an earnings thing. It was an accident. I didn't think it was going to happen. I wanted 30%, and then overnight, now I'm a liquid millionaire again. So it's like this crazy whatever. So with Bitcoin, I'm a big believer, and it's because it's the policy, the international currency policy of other countries of why I'm so bullish.
Yeah.
There's a lot of countries out there where their currency kind of sucks.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people that believe that, and so they are buying Bitcoin because it is a hedge, and they are becoming wealthier because of it. And they're still able to transact and buy food and groceries using Bitcoin as well. So there's those components. There's a few other components I can go into. My two biggest crypto holdings are Bitcoin and Ethereum. Shout out to your boy Vitalik. I think he's a really cool guy. I think he has a really, really beautiful heart. And the rest of the cryptos are probably garbage for the most part. And I don't think there's a project right now that really stands out that I'm like, oh man, this is going to change the world. But that doesn't mean that we can't participate them as speculators. So if you have an extra $10,000 laying around burning a hole in your pocket, you can buy Matic and Solana and Atom, and you can buy ICP, and you can buy Perpetual Protocol. And you can make 10, 20, 30% returns on your $10,000 every 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Right. Which is, I mean, substantial, but you take 10 grand, make 30%. Now it's at 13,000. Take that 13,000, make another 30%. Do that over and over and over and over and over. Once that $10,000 has doubled, which if you're relatively decent in crypto, it should be like 6 months. You can then take out your $10,000. The rest is house money. So go have fun with it. Do not leverage it ever. Do never leverage crypto.
What do you mean exactly? Unpack that just so, because I know people have, personally, I know friends of mine, and they got burned.
Yeah. So Charlie Munger says there's 3 ways that a man goes broke: ladies, liquor, and leverage. So leverage is, okay, I'm putting in $10,000, make it 100. And I wrote a book, Cary, called Money Grows on Trees. Because when people start realizing how much money is out there, and that there are firms, there are companies, there are banks that will literally 10x your money. They will give you 10 times your buying power. Just here you go. Now you might go, well, why would anyone do that? Well, same reason you own your house, right? Most people, when they buy a house, they get a mortgage. That's leveraged money.
Mhm.
So when you use leveraged money to buy an asset that can drop dramatically, right? And you have $100,000 worth of a piece of crap, and it goes down 30%, and you had your $10,000 on. You have $20,000 that you owe to somebody, and they will come and take your house.
Yeah.
These brokers do not play. So I have never used leverage on crypto, and I never will. And that's one of the reasons that I've been a few of the very, very loud and outspoken crypto traders since 2017, 2016 who hasn't lost all of my money trading crypto. In fact, I've increased my net worth pretty substantially being involved in the crypto market.
Yeah. Wow. I mean, a lot to kind of discuss here when it comes to crypto. The biggest thing that I just want people to take away is do your due diligence, right?
Yeah.
But then don't let fear hold you back. Like, get in the
No.
game, have some exposure to these assets that have exponential growth possibilities. I mean, I'm looking at the Bitcoin price right now. It's 67,825, right? That's just at the current time of this recording. What would you say to someone who's like, it's too late potentially? I know you believe it's getting, it's going to shoot up, but like, I feel like we sometimes have that, oh, I should have got in when it was 26, 7 months ago. And I get that too. But it's like, what's your take on just like, buying in? Do you go all in today? Do you like, do you vest it over time? How would you recommend getting in the game?
Anytime you feel you're like, oh, I missed it. Oh, it's too late. Although that could be the case, what I would say is, as you mentioned just a moment ago, do some due diligence, read some newsletters. I have one, right, where I have an amazing team who spends hours a day really diving into some beautiful analysis of charts and markets. So do some research, do some due diligence. But really, to answer your questions, number two, do not go all in, because you will absolutely be an idiot and you'll do it the wrong way and you'll get way too much FOMO and it will not work out well. But do it over time. So take an amount of money that you do not mind losing, let's call it $5,000, and buy your Bitcoin, your Nvidia, your Apple, your Google on a weekly basis. Set up on automatic recurring purchase over a course of a couple of weeks or a couple months, right? Let's say 2 months. So that's 8 weeks of time. You're taking that $5,000, divide by 8, and that $5,000 divided by 8 is just buying Bitcoin every single Thursday at 2:00 on a reoccurring basis for 8 weeks. That's what I would do. And then once your $5,000 is in, go do $5,000 worth of actual research, right? Read some articles, watch some podcasts, do some newsletters, read some YouTubes, do some podcasts, what all of your listeners are doing right now, hearing arguably one of the greater Bitcoin traders of all time telling you it's going to hit 100,000. So take that for what it's worth. Understand how to slowly leverage in with additional income, because then, Cary, what your brain is going to be forced to do is say to yourself, how can I make more income?
Yeah.
Take portions of that income and buy some more crypto with it.
Yeah.
And as you start breaking down that pyramid of my income, my net worth, how much money I can make, take components of that and shovel it in to whatever asset that you want. And the more research you do on that asset, the more you should invest in it if you understand that it to be a good investment. There's a great Netflix documentary called Banking on Bitcoin. It came out in 2018, I believe. Really, really good documentary. I would highly suggest watching that. And if you watch that and you tell me that you don't think Bitcoin's going to go higher, I would love to know your thesis on why.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's a sound wisdom. Obviously, I know it is. Just, buying it over time, right? And what's the term for that? I feel like I'm drawing a blank on it.
There's a few. Yeah, dollar cost averaging. That's probably the most popular one.
Yeah. Dollar cost average into your stocks, your crypto positions. Therefore, you have exposure over, you said over a 2-month period, essentially.
Yeah.
And then, okay. So this is, obviously kind of basic, but where do you recommend buying Bitcoin? I know there's a couple different platforms.
My go-to, man, there are a few. The number one I'm going to mention is Coinbase. I don't get paid to promote them, but dude, they're FDIC insured. They have the exact same legal regulations as your bank. Brian Armstrong's the CEO. You can message them on Twitter. We're buddies. Like, it's a great company, right? It's publicly traded. You can review their earnings statements, right? You can go buy shares of Coin, which you probably should because it's going to go higher also. I think, why not use that one? Now, there's another one that's newer. It's only been out for a couple of years, but it's called River, like river.com. And river.com is a free way to buy Bitcoin on a reoccurring basis. You can buy it on Robinhood, you can buy it on Venmo, you can buy it on Cash App, you can buy it on PayPal. They just released Bitcoin ETFs. So you can buy Bitcoin ETFs inside of your IRAs if you want to. The most popular one is probably the Van Eck Bitcoin Trust, HODL. So, in January of 2024, it was $46 a share, Cary. Right now, it's $76 a share, right? So you can buy this stuff inside of your IRAs. You can get exposure to this. Yeah. You can do covered calls on this stuff. Like, it is so, there's so many ways, dude. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But I would say, back to your actual question, Coinbase, that's the way I do it, and that's my preferred method.
And now, just I this is just a question: do you leave your Bitcoin on the platform, or do you actually put it in like a cold wallet?
What a question! The answer for me is until you have over $250,000 inside of your Bitcoin wallet or Ethereum wallet or any other crypto on Coinbase, there's no need to take it off because again, they're going to FDIC insure you, and they're FDIC insuring you not from you being scammed because you're an idiot, right? And you send, never send Cary or myself or Garrett Gunderson or Grant Cardone or Elon Musk. No one's going to double your Bitcoin. Okay, if you send me some Bitcoin and I'm going to double it and just send it back to you because I'm nice. That's not me. It's a scam. It's not Cary. It's a scam. Okay, true. Please don't do that. Saying that to say, like, that insurance isn't going to protect someone from making a bad mistake and like leaving their web browser open and whatever. Get two-factor, right? Get 2FA, get your securities on your Coinbase. I have no problem leaving. I leave a couple $100,000 on there at all given times. It's not an issue to buy and sell positions. I wouldn't worry about that whatsoever personally. If you do worry about that, you should also worry about that at your bank, right? It's the same exact level of safety.
Okay. Yeah. And I mean, that's just, I know a thought, like I get hung up personally with, okay, well, how do I get it on I got a cold wallet just to be fully transparent and I never put anything on it. It's just sitting on the platform and I'm like, God damn, like I just haven't even made that connection. Now I'm worried about my password. If I forget it, I don't want to lose my password, So thank you for giving me that peace of mind. Yeah.
Oh, dude, for sure. And I would say too, man, like don't overcomplicate it. Like you can put $5 of Bitcoin on your hard wallet just to test it out, to see how the passwords and all that stuff works. It's really not ultimately that bad. Just like you probably got a safe somewhere in your house with some guns and some ammo. It's like I live in Montana. I'm just had to guess. Mine's over there. Nice. So it's like,
oh, there you go.
Take $5, transfer it over, test the process out. Because you got to get your seed phrases and you got to get your pass keys. But all those things are pretty easy to do. In the hard wallet, it's like anything else, man. Like if you own a bunch of gold, you're going to put your gold somewhere. I got some buddies that bury it in their yard. They tell their wife where it's at. Same thing. Right? So just do the exact same process. Communicate, share, tell people where it's at, tell people who's got it, what it is, and then go ahead and just interact with it because it is a valuable piece of knowledge to know.
Yeah. Awesome, man. Yeah. And don't tell people where your wallet's at, just your loved ones who might need it.
Correct.
Right. Let's clarify. You want to obviously keep that password near and dear to your heart.
Yes.
Dude, Jerremy, this has been awesome, brother. I know you got a really great gift for all the happy hustlers out there who are like, all right, I want to put this stuff into practice. I'm sick of, just listening to the theory. I want to know how to do put options and call covers and, invest wisely. Where can people go?
Yeah. So by the time this episode's dropped, if you go to reallifetraining.com, there's going to be an orange button that says "Let's get started." When you click on that, you're going to go through the crash course, right? My goal is to help anyone here out there understand how to retire earlier, much earlier. So if they have like, oh, I'm retiring 9 years. No, you're not. It's going to be 2.5 if you work with me. Let's shorten your retirement cycle. Let's understand how to start doing a lot of these tools that are available to all of us. I got an ebook that's going to be available for all of your listeners called Retire in 90 Days. And I kind of walk you through the components of how to do covered calls. It's a really, really great ebook, and I would love for all of your listeners to interact with it. RealLifeTraining.com, click on Get Started, and I'm going to build you a coupon code. So if they're doing any type of checkout at any point in time for anything, if you're listening to this, just use Cary Jack. You know how to spell it.
Oh, can we do happy? Can we do happy?
Even better, dude.
Yeah, there we go. Let's do happy. Code happy. Come on.
Done. So if you do anything, if you type in the word happy on my website, you will get a beautiful little discount code good to your boy, the happy Cary Jack.
Appreciate you, bro. This is awesome. Yeah. Guys, check out reallifetrading.com. Use code happy. You'll get the hookup. Regardless, just get in the game. Use discernment, obviously, but get in the game. Have yourself exposed to some of these amazing assets that can change your life, like they have for Jerremy and many, many others of his students. Jerremy, before I let you go, I got to put you through just a couple more questions. So happy hustle hacks are like a tip, a tool, a tactic. Okay. But for a couple different disciplines, let's talk about health first and foremost. I know you're an endurance athlete, an Ironman, but is there something uniquely Jerremy that you do to optimize your health? Something that we could deem a happy hustle hack?
For me, man, sleep. I got it dialed in.
Nice.
I got my sleep dialed in. So the hack would be study your beliefs around sleep and really find out for you, like, do you love it? Do you think it's stupid? Sleep when you're broke. You're wasting your time when you sleep. Like, really find out your mental beliefs around sleep and then start getting into a really, really, really strict routine around sleep. I've actually, and this is wild. I didn't know this, Cary, but there's a lot of gentlemen out there, a lot of entrepreneurs who are like, they're doing the go sleep at midnight, wake up at 5.
Yeah.
And it's like, that can work for some people.
Yeah.
But it might not work for you. So find out what it is for you. Because like for me, I am like, my eyes are hurting. Like I want to go sleep at 10:30 and I wake up at 6:30. Like it is an 8-hour like ritual. So me and my wife know if we're going to have baby girl and baby, like we're going to have our time, it's got to be sometime before 10:30.
Yeah.
I'm out. It's game over. And I'm waking up at 6:30.
Right on. Yeah. I think there's like a gene with sleep that like 1 in 11,000 people can operate on 4 hours of sleep or something of the sort. But it's really like, it's very rare. So most people need, 6 to 8 hours to operate, it's
usually closer to 8. Yeah. And so I take a melatonin. That's how it helps me get in that cycle. And so it's just really through repetition is like, I am just 10:30, like I will party with the best of them, dude. I'll go out, I'll hang out with all my boys, we'll do all the things. 10:30 though, so I'm really, really strict on my sleep schedule.
Awesome. Yeah, I love that. I typically ask, a happy hustle hack for money. We have talked a lot about money, but I'm wondering if there's something a little uniquely Jerremy that you've done, maybe something super tangible like that could be a happy hustle hack for money.
Yep. Have a conversation with your wife every week. Call it Money Mondays. And at dinner, your whole family should talk about money. If you want more of something in your life, talk more about it. All my kids they know how much money is in our bank account. They know how much money I make. They know my net worth. They know my credit score. It's like my boys, my family, we just talk about money on Mondays very, very openly. Hey, how much money did you make this week? Hey, how much money did you circulate? How much did you operate with? How much did you create? So I really love just openly discussing and talking about money.
Yeah, that's really sage words. Love that. Let's talk about spirituality. anything specific that you do to connect to a higher power? Anything? I mean, again, I just think it's a piece of the puzzle that has to be, put together. I don't really care one religion or another, but anything you do to tap in?
Yes, man. One of my favorite quotes is, "In prayer we ask, and in meditation we receive." I
Mm,
feel like we should do both,
love
as
that.
men, as women, for anyone who's listening. Like, find ways to be aware of both components of spirituality. And I'm at a stage right now in my life where, when I close my eyes, again, because of the first 24 years of my life, I start out with a very strategic, specific routine. But I've started changing and shifting who I pray to, who I listen to, who I ask for guidance from. I'm really, really right now working on a place where I'm opening up myself to all the beautiful guides of the world. Right? I will pray to our boy Muhammad. I will pray to Buddha. I will pray to Jesus. I will pray to
Nice.
Yahweh. I will pray to Mother Teresa, Martin Luther King.
Mm,
I am here saying that for me, and where I am in my exact present journey, we absolutely need to connect with all of the sages that have come before us. They are the ones that have provided us life. If you think
yeah.
about it, one shift. If your dad drank one more cup of coffee differently, you wouldn't be here as a person, right? If your
Right.
mom took one additional step somewhere in her life, like, we wouldn't be here. Like, it's an amazing, amazing, incredible, beautiful awareness of how rare this life is and this
Mm.
gift is to be here. We gotta own it. And we really, really need to connect with all those amazing people from the past that have allowed us to be here.
Mm. Damn, brother. Beautifully said. Love that. This has been epic. Jeremy, I got to put you through the rapid fire round and then we're wrapping this up. So, real
Sure.
quick, this is like random questions and you just answer
I
honestly.
like it.
First thing that
I
comes to
like it.
mind. Are you ready?
I'm ready. I'm ready.
All right. Favorite food? Go.
Steak.
Favorite movie?
Forrest Gump.
Favorite book?
Outwitting the Devil.
Favorite workout?
Burpees.
Ooh. What's your best business advice?
Do one thing extremely well until you make $1 million.
Hmm. What's your spirit animal?
A lion.
Hmm. 3 things you're most grateful for today.
3 things I'm most grateful for today. I'm grateful for my legs. I'm grateful for this weather. And I'm really grateful for electricity. I had some friends in Kentucky that had to go through that tornado recently. And there's a lot of them that do not have that, what we take for granted every day. Turn on
Yeah.
a light switch and everything works, man. I am so grateful for electricity today.
Yeah. Heck yeah. And if you had a billboard for the world to see with your last piece of content on there, what's that billboard read?
You can only ascend as high into heaven as you're willing to go down into your personal hell.
Dang. Crushed it, Jeremy. That rapid fire round was absolute fuego. And brother, I just want to take a moment to acknowledge you, man, for sharing your love, your light, your wisdom, your real life trading tips, and just your soul and how you show up in the world. And just, you've been a blessing in my life. I'm so grateful to have you part of the Happy Hustle Club. Looking forward to kicking it in Montana soon, hopefully for one of the masterminds. And yeah, man, just grateful for you, man. So thank you.
Likewise. Thanks, Rockstar. You're amazing.
Appreciate you. Now, final question before I hit you with it. Go ahead and mention where people can follow you online and some of the best places to check you out.
Absolutely. I have a really, really great social media team. So Jerremy Newsome, Jeremy with 2 R's. My dad's name was Jerry, so it stands for Jerry and me.
Like it.
Yeah, Jerremy Newsome, wherever social medias are a thing. And then obviously, if you message me, I will be more than happy to message you back.
Love it. All right, man. Final question, Jeremy. What does happy hustling mean to you?
I know exactly what that means, man. Happy hustle to me means that you're working in your purpose. You are pulled by your purpose and you are no longer being pushed by your pain. You have
Mm.
everything that you want all of the time, always, and you are happy, you are blissful, and you are getting work done.
Love that. Heck yeah. Mic drop, y'all. Jerremy Newsome, thank you for watching and listening. We are out. Peace and love, everyone.